What happens if you could go Black Friday shopping? Well, I've got news for you. OPB is having a Black Friday sale that's going on. It's going to be on Marvel, DC, and Image Comics. Let's go over and see what they end up having on this Black Friday sale. We're at the main page of OPB, Organic Price Books. You're going to go over here. I'm going to have a link down in the description that you can end up using our link to be able to help us out and help you out in the process. So we're going to go over here. Check this out. We're going to go over to the tab that says 50% off Black Friday sale. We have 2 days, 2 hours, and 30 minutes at the time of filming this video. So click it. And there's going to be 21 pages. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's going to be over covering into this. See, we got 21 pages worth. So buckle up. And 3, 2, 1. There we go. All right, we got the James Bond book, 100 Bullets, Volume 1, 100 Bullets, Volume 2. Those are both of the omnibuses. Not only that, we also have the 52 omnibus. Then we have the complete series of A Walk Through Hell, an absolute of Batman the Killing Joke, also of the 3 Jokers, Year 1, Court of Owls. So the big thing is if you see it's over on back order, that means they can end up trying to pick it up. It's going to take up to 2 weeks for them to be able to grab a copy of that to be able to send over to you. So that gives you a heads up when you end up picking that up. Absolute Dark Knight's Metal, and then Dark Knight's Metal, Absolute Death, Doomsday Clock, Fourth World. Taylor Talks Comics is one of the big lovers of this, Volume 1 and Volume 2. One that I'd be very tempted to pick up is Absolute of Kingdom Come. We haven't jumped into the Absolute market because, honestly, they take up a little bit of room, and we tend to end up picking up some library editions, which is about the same size as these guys. So, space-wise, we're not going to be jumping into that avenue. But it is a killer steal because it's $50 when it's normally $100. Multiversity Preacher, that's another good series I've been hearing good things about. Jake from Brave and the Boys is all about the Sandman, so we got a bunch of Sandman action right here. A bunch of absolutes. Absolute Superman All Seasons. It's another one that he ends up suggesting to be able to pick up. Another one that's very tempting. Then we're also coming over to the absolutes for Swamp Thing, which is very tempting as well. But look, we also got Transmetropolitan. That's going to be having a Volume 3. It's going to get reprinted pretty soon. V for Vendetta, Watchmen. I guess this would be Jordan from Brave and the Boys, since he has a whole different collection of Watchmen themselves. Wonder Woman, Absolute Wonder Woman, Gods and Mortals. Adam Strange. Aftershocks hardcover of Shock. All-Star Superman. Altered Carbon. Amazing Spider-Man by Nick Spencer's Volume 1. Both covers, it looks like. Epics. We end up having some epic covers. And then we also have the Beyond Omnibus. Looks like all 3 different covers they have of that. Animal Man. Evolutions. Going over to page 3. Woo! Epic of Giant Man / Ant-Man. Aquaman Andromeda. I've heard decent things about that. Oh, got a book I finally ended up reading. Aquaman by Jeff Johns for $37.50. This is a steal. I love the main story that you end up having with the Trench. The Trench was an awesome story that ended up actually making Aquaman a little bit more better, and it also inspired the first Aquaman movie. So that's something you can end up picking up. Art of Invincible Season 1, Art of Red Sonja, Astro City. It looks like we got a bunch of trade paperbacks for that. 1, 4, and 5. Interesting. Avengers by Jonathan Hickman, Volume 1 and Volume 2 that you can end up picking up. A gallery edition of Avengers, Kree and Skull War. Batgirl of Burnside Omnibus, Batman and Robin omnibus, Batman and the Joker, the Deadly Duo. Something this is neat. Mark Silvestri, and he ended up drawing and making the story for it. The classic Batman Death in the Family. It's a hardcover. Oh, if you're Batman, The Adventures, the animated show that they ended up in, if you love that, you'll also love this. This is stuff that's inspired, and it's a kind of a continuation of the series. Batman and Robin Eternal, Arkham Asylum, Batman Black and White, Batman by Morrison, Volume 1, 2, and 3. One that always doesn't make the cut for me because I want to pick this up, but it just doesn't end up making the cut. It's Batman by Tim Sale and Jeff Loeb. Has some stellar stories, and it's definitely something that I want to end up picking up eventually for the collection. Scott Snyder's Volume 1 and Volume 2 with Greg Capullo on art. City of Bane, Batman Curse of the White Knight, Batman Damned. That's Jess's favorite book, or should I say Omnidog's favorite book. No, that's not really. I think that's one of the books that famously got the root beer bath treatment. Batman Dark Victory, the deluxe. Batman Detective Comics, Batman Earth 1 complete collection trade paperback. Batman Eternal makes sense. This is one of those stories that they ended up dropping a new book every week. I think that was for 52 weeks or something like that for an entire year. Batman Fear State Saga in a hardcover. Batman Gaslight, it's a trade paperback. Batman Hush 20th Anniversary Edition. Batman Hush, a trade paperback. Batman Killing Time. Batman Nightfall omnibus. Batman The Last Night on Earth, which is a hardcover. Oh, now we're coming over to the Batman No Man's Land. Looks like we got Volume 1. A little bit damaged to Volume 1. Volume 2. Interesting. And then we have Batman Rebirth. Batman Shadow War. Batman and Spawn Deluxe Edition. Batman The Golden Age. That is going to be way too old for me, but that's all going to be about Jess. That's Jess's avenue. It's going to be kind of crazy because I think that's also one back in the days when Batman ended up having a gun. That's right. When he first came out, he had a gun. Batman Hush Saga, the omnibus hardcover, it's $75, so it's half off. The Imposter, I read a couple issues. That was not the best, but it's not the worst. Long Halloween Deluxe Edition. Long Halloween Haunted Night. Batman, The Man Who Laughs Last. Or The Road to No Man's. So this is the prequel to No Man's Land. Holy smokes, there's a lot of Batman. Oh, Batman and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We have that. We just haven't read that quite yet. We read the first story. His first story was pretty good. I haven't read the second story yet. Oh, we coming up with the representation of Green Lantern in our collection. We ended up having the Blackest Night omnibus that we ended up picking up from a Whatnot sale. You can pick it up for half off over at Organic Price Books. Blue Beetle, Book of Magic, The Boys, Brightest Day, some Captain America action, some Catwoman, Creep Show, Criminal, the deluxe editions, volume 1, 2, and 3. I kind of been suggested to be able to pick this guys up, and it might end up happening. As I say, it's kind of like a steal that you ended up paying half price. So a $150 book you're getting for $75. And we kind of did enjoy Reckless. So that might have to be coming right into the collection. Crisis, Curse Words, Dark Arc, Death Metal, New Frontier. So if you're new to the world of comics and you're trying to find a good DC book to get into and to jump over to get a general aspect of it, there's this New Frontier book. It's a deluxe edition, and for $30, it's a great introduction to the DC world. Granted, some of them have different origins and stuff like that, but it's a good general gist that you can end up getting into the series with. Vampires, All Out World. Now, I see The Deceased. That's another good stellar story, is what I've been told. But that's also coming with an omnibus, so beware. If you are getting these, know that the omnibus is coming down the horizon. And that's something that we're going to end up waiting for. The Death and Return of Superman. That's a nice little story. I would say is a classic. Doom Patrol. 8 Billion Genies was an alright story. It's in a world where everyone ends up getting a genie and you get one wish. You get to use one wish to be able to figure out what you ended up wanting. And if someone else has that wish, they can end up bumping it, or that wish might not even happen. So it ends up seeing the aspect of what would happen if the entire world had one genie that gave you one wish, one shot, and one opportunity. Fables, Fantastic Four. Compendium, Fear Agent by Rick Remender. So that's going to be another big book as well, because Rick Remender makes these big books. It's going to be the size of like your library editions, or I guess an absolute, I would be saying. Final Crisis. Flash by Jeff Johns. Whole lot of Flash. So that another book that we were thinking about that be on the fence about would be picking up Flashpoint, because I would like to have that to represent the Flash, because that's a big event that comes over with it that just has Flash as the focal point. The Forge. Back to the Fourth Rule, Gideon Falls. Gotham Central. Okay, Gotham Central is my favorite DC book that I've read so far. This book ended up breaking the world wide open for me for Greg Rucka and Ed Brubaker. It's a stellar book that ends up going over with. I believe I gave it a 9 out of 10, and I would say it's probably in my top 5 reads I've read this year. So, with that said, I would strongly suggest picking that up, especially if you get a steal at $50 for just picking it up, where it's a $100 book cover, where it has a $100 cover price. I haven't read year 1. Grayson. Longbow Hunters, which that's actually which inspired Green Arrow. So that's another good solid title. Heard nothing but good things about the Green Lantern by Jeff Johns. 1, 2, and 3. It's going to be on the next page. And then you also have a book that ended up having volume 2 just get printed, was The Green Lanterns by Peter J. Posse and Patrick Gleason. Guardians of the Galaxy, Hack and Slash. Harleen is another good story, I've been told. Harley Quinn and the Gotham Sirens. Hellblazer's another one I've been hearing good things about. World Hulk the Omnibus. It's another stellar story. It's one of my favorite Hulk stories that comes over with it. I mean, you get to see the almighty World Breaker Hulk. Man, there's a lot of crises that's in this. Volume 1 of Injustice was pretty good. I haven't read Volume 2. Invincible, another pinnacle that comes over with it. Jake over at Brave and the Boys just did a comparison of the different collections that you can end up doing, and that's a good way to be able to dive in, to be able to check it out. Also, Invincible is probably one of my favorite newer books. When I'm saying newer, watch, it's like 10 years old. Just so far behind. What? iZombie, JLA, Joker, GSA. So JSA is before the Justice League. Justice League Dark. Justice League New 52. I believe that's 2. And there's Volume 1. I read a little bit of Volume 1. I ended up liking it. I picked it up from their last sale. So we're going to end up having that coming over to the collection at some point. Karma. I'm assuming that's adult friendly. Little Monsters. Low. Some good old Masterworks. So something that's going to be unique is this is going to be a regular cover right over here. The one that ends up changing. This is going to be your regular cover right over here. This is going to be your deluxe cover, or direct market cover. Excuse me. A little bit of Spider-Man action as well. Defenders, Fantastic Four, Hulk, Iron Man. X-Men, Werewolf by Night. Oh, art books. Moon Knighter. Milestone Comics, the Compendium 1 and 2. That's going to be BJ Kicks over at Comics Are Dope. That's probably what his pick would have been for this entire set. Miracle Man, Hot Paprika, Miracle Man. This is actually getting an absolute. That's going to be coming out, I believe, next year. We're going to pick this up from a friend of the channel. Moon Knight by Jed McKay. Another good solid pickup. One of my friends ended up getting me on the Moon Knight train, and this is where I ended up starting with Jed McKay. We ended up picking up the regular cover that has Gagpul's art that's on it, but it's definitely a good solid pickup. Nightwing, Planetary, we just picked that up. Another one that Jake ended up suggesting. Preacher, like I said, that's another book that ends up having a love affair for it. Promethea. Punchline, Red Sonja, Riddler Year 1, the fancy mask that comes with it, the cool omnibus Kyles of the Sandman, which I would be tempted to pick up, but you can't collect them all. So that's going to be one where I'm probably going to end up passing, even though Jake is over there probably screaming at me, you should pick that up. Scumbag, the complete edition. 7 Soldiers, 7 Eternities, both covers of that. Shazam. Spider-Man versus Venom. That's another one that could be a precursor to your Venomulus. They have 3 different Venomulus that you can end up picking up. This would be probably Venomulus Volume 0 because you get a little bit lower. It's a nice little way to add it over to it. And if you ended up picking up Spider-Man, the complete Black Costume Saga, this also has the missing pages that you end up having. That's going to be also in this. So there's a little bit of double dipping that you would be ended up having. Dr. Aphra, Starman, Super Duper edition of Super Sons. It's an awesome story. It's what I've been told. I haven't quite read it. It's on our list to read. Batman and Superman, Volume 1, Volume 2, Birthright Deluxe, Grant Morrison's Superman. Alright, so another one that comes over with it is Superman by Peter J. Tomasi and Patrick Gleason. We ended up picking this up. I've been told it's a good father-son story, so that's why we ended up picking her up. Man of Steel. I'm surprised this hasn't become an omnibus yet. Unchained, well, you have that Jim Lee art, which is pretty stellar. It's the main reason why I ended up picking that up. Superman Space Age with Michael Allred's art. Golden Age Superman. Space Age, oh yeah. And some more Swamp Thing. We're definitely thinking about picking up this Swamp Thing. The Green Hell. It's another story that we were interested into, and at $15, I can't say no. The Boys, Volume 1, and then you can get a signed edition for $100. What the? Dr. Chimp, The Invisibles, The Nice House on the Lake, the newer version, or not the newer version, but the next story of that line is actually going to become the first one that's going to be printed underneath the back over to the The new one that they have coming out from the same team is going to put underneath the Vertigo logo. Man, I must have had vertigo when I was trying to talk about that. Top 10, Dracula. Ooh, another very super popular one of the Uncanny X-Force by Rick Remender. War of the Kings. Nice little reprint that they ended up having. And we're wrapping it up to the final page. Dead Earth. I've heard nothing but good things by this, and this is also by Daniel Warner Johnson, old DWJ, and you won't be, and let me tell you, you will not be let down by the art of this. And it's an interesting story that they end up having with that. Historia is another one we're thinking about picking up just for the art itself. Wolverine. Oh, we're coming over to the X-Men, the animated series. You have the direct market cover, and then you also have the regular cover. So this is taking the stories from the first 3 seasons of X-Men, the animated show, and they ended up telling it as a comic book form. But it's not word for word for the episode. It kind of summarizes it and has a little bit changes that you come over with it. I would still strongly suggest reading the show. But if you wanted to know curiosity, this would be the time to pick it up because it's half off. Why the Last Man? And then Young Justice wraps it out. So as you can see, there are some bombs. There are some good solid steals that you can end up picking off. They're going to be 50% off on all these books that we ended up going over with it. And if you use our link, we also, again, this is going to be a good old steal that you can end up using to add to your collection. We'll drop this video tonight, and you guys will be able to see it. And this is also before Thanksgiving. If you celebrate Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving. And until next time, we'll see you guys later.